guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan and today I'm going to be discussing the latest Mike Babcock rumors and which team he might coach next. Now Mike Babcock of course was fired recently by the Toronto Maple Leafs, but being one of the better coaches in NHL history, he'll likely find his footing again in the NHL soon. But which teams will be pursuing him for the head coach job, and which team do I think is the most likely to land him? For all my opinions and predictions, watch till the end to find out. But in this video, I'll be sharing the latest rumors surrounding Mike Babcock, where he might go, where he might end up, and my 5 most likely destinations for Mike Babcock to coach next. And this was a hard one because there's a lot of teams out there, whether you expect them to or not expect them to be in the race for Mike Babcock. I think there's a lot of teams right now that would love to make a coaching change, haven't exactly gotten the guy they want on the market, but a guy like Mike Babcock just might change that. Now for my first out of the 5 teams I'll mention in the Babcock sweepstakes, I'm going to first mention a team that I think is a serious underdog for him. They don't have the best chance of getting him, but if they go crazy, it might just happen. That being the Vancouver Canucks. Now the Vancouver Canucks right now sit at 3rd in the Pacific Division, right now with an 11-8-4 record. They got a huge win over the Nashville Predators recently, which definitely lessens their chances. But for the Vancouver Canucks, a team that had a brilliant October and a very lackluster November so far, that's an ownership group that I think wants to take that next step to the playoffs. They traded for JT Miller this past offseason. They want to be competitive. They want to be in the playoff race. And right now, while they are, the November has still been pretty unacceptable when it comes to the overall record and how they're performing. But here's the thing. While I see Vancouver being in the race for Mike Babcock, I don't think they should be. I think Travis Green is one of the most underrated coaches in the league. I think he should be given the opportunity in Vancouver to ride the ship out and make them to a playoff team, because I think he has that potential. I think he's one of the main reasons why they have such a great youthful core that is playing the way they are. But a guy like Mike Babcock, it just seems like that ownership almost loves him, and he's a guy that can make them into a playoff contender. He turns bad teams into playoff teams, and he could do the same with Vancouver. I don't see it as a realistic option, and I don't think they should go after him, but I still see it as a possibility. Now going to another Western Conference team that I think will be in on Mike Babcock. This is one that I also think is a little bit unrealistic, but it's getting more realistic as the days go by, that being the Nashville Predators. So far, the Preds sit with a 9-9-3 record. They have lost 6 straight games, and in this November, they've been absolutely horrendous. Just from top to bottom, nothing has been really working. And Peter Laviolette, I still think, is one of the best coaches in the league, but I think he's kind of in the same situation as Mike Babcock, just a little bit with the Leafs this year, where he's a good team on paper, he's had success in the past, but it just doesn't seem like there's a fit there anymore, and there might need to be a change made. I'm not saying that Peter Laviolette deserves to be fired, but a guy like Mike Babcock being the replacement for him wouldn't surprise me. Now for a team like Nashville, I think this is more just a fluky stretch of games rather than what they actually are as a team, because I think they're better than this 100%. But with some key injuries there, it hasn't really gone their way. But Nashville could just be brash and just do whatever they want, because they already traded PK Subban to save cap. Anything could happen at this point. I'm not sure if Mike Babcock is the answer, because Nashville already is a team that can't get it done in the playoffs, but Mike Babcock could be a realistic option and a realistic answer right now. Now going to my 3rd team that I think could be in the Mike Babcock sweepstakes, now sliding over to the Eastern Conference and the Detroit Red Wings. Through their first 24 games, the Red Wings sit at 7-14-3 record, good for 17 points right now, and have 4 straight losses. It's not exactly going too well for Detroit, and I don't think anybody really expected anything better than this, but Detroit might make a bigger move, let's say. Now the thing is with Detroit, I don't think they should go after Babcock whatsoever. They're still not in a position to win. They're still in the middle of their rebuild, and things got to really get better with the youth before you even consider bringing in a coach like that. I think Jeff Blashill, while I'm still not a big fan of him, should stay the course through this rebuild, and that's how it should be. But with Detroit and their ownership, of course, they got that big new stadium, they might have no patience at all and bring back Mike Babcock. It would be a pretty crazy reunion to say the least, but one that might actually work. Now, if they do end up bringing Mike Babcock in, I think it will be the somewhat same situation as Toronto did, where they bring him in mid-season, have him take full control of the team, and set course to the rebuild and make everything good once again. And for Detroit, a team that I don't know if has too much patience left, I'm hoping they do. I hope they keep this rebuild going. But adding a guy like Mike Babcock would be interesting. Again, he was a former coach there, won a Stanley Cup in Detroit. It could be the reunion that Detroit needs to not just fulfill this rebuild, but to get back to the playoffs again for the first time in a very long time. Okay, so I had 3 options that were a little bit less realistic. But now going into my final 2 that I think honestly might be the most realistic in the NHL right now. We're going to start out with the New Jersey Devils, who find themselves in quite the position, I must say. And by position, I mean nightmare. For the first 20 games of this nightmare of a season, New Jersey sits at 7-9-4, and it's just not been all that great. Now, kudos to them because they have been playing better recently, but that's not exactly a high bar for New Jersey to set either. I think right now, I like John Hynes. I like John Hynes as a coach. But again, like some other coaches in the NHL right now, it just doesn't seem like a fit anymore in New Jersey. And that's a shame because I think Hynes is a solid, good, somewhat analytical coach here. But I think New Jersey does need to make a change, and I think they will eventually. This is a team that has so much expectation, so much hype behind them this season, and to fall flat like this, playing worse than they did last season, is kind of insane. And we've seen with Babcock how he can turn teams that shouldn't make the playoffs into playoff contenders, and a team like New Jersey, who has all the pieces, I think, to be contending for the playoffs, could definitely use a guy like Babcock. He could definitely strengthen that defense and make guys like Nico Hischier into absolute studs. I think that's a serious thing that New Jersey should consider. I don't think they've had a real great coaching candidate out there before a guy like Mike Babcock. And while I think Mike Babcock makes a fair share of mistakes, he made a lot of them in Toronto. On a team like New Jersey, that might be desperation mode for them. But a guy like Mike Babcock could be a great fit. But while New Jersey on paper might be the most realistic, to me there is one team that just edges them out. And if it had to be on any team right now to hire Mike Babcock, I'm going to go with the Calgary Flames. No, I am not kidding. I am really thinking it's going to happen. Do not at me. Now allow me to explain myself here. The Calgary Flames, for their first 25 games this season, sit at a 10-12-3 record, good for 6 straight losses. Good for second last in the Pacific Division. It's not exactly going too great for Calgary, and while I predicted them to miss the playoffs, I expected it to be pretty close. But the Calgary Flames definitely did not expect to be this bad, and they have been bad. Just the team overall has not been good, from top to bottom. It really does need a shake-up. Now, I was never a big fan of the Bill Peters signing. I thought he was a fine coach, and he did a good job last year. But the team collapsed versus the Colorado Avalanche. And for the most part, I saw that performance translating to this season, and I've been nothing but correct. They've been that bad, and they've been that average. And Calgary just doesn't surprise me anymore because they're a team that is literally the definition of inconsistent. They would have one year where they're the best team in the league, and the other where they will just go and get a top 5 pick. It just really is inconsistent. But a coach like Mike Babcock could be a chance for Calgary to really get back on the playoff wagon. And if they do it early enough, they could get back into the playoff race. Again, in the Western Conference, it's not crazy competitive. There's a lot of teams out there fighting for those spots, but Calgary could sneak themselves back into this playoff race. But with the way it's going right now, that's not going to happen. Right now, they're just keeping Bill Peters, and they're deciding to trade Johnny Gaudreau if they continue to suck. It really is getting that bad and that drastic. But I think a coaching change should be the way Calgary goes, and if it keeps continuing this way, I think Mike Babcock will be in Calgary. And yes, I kind of want to see chaos, and that's why I want to see Mike Babcock in Calgary, just so I can see Milan Lucic getting 25 minutes per night. But I think it's just a fit for Calgary. I think the ownership doesn't want to waste any time with this team because there are some fantastic pieces on this Calgary team that really should be a playoff team. I mean, they got Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan, Mark Giordano, and a very solid group there. But it's just not been working. It's not been getting done. And I think Mike Babcock might be the answer for them. But New Jersey and Calgary, to me, are the most realistic destinations. Calgary would be more of a chaotic situation if Babcock were to go there. Meanwhile, New Jersey would just be more of an expected thing. But those teams, to me, are the most likely at this point. But I think in just the NHL in general, there won't be a lack of interest for Babcock. He has the pedigree, he has the success, He has a Stanley Cup, and a lot of teams would like to add that. I don't know if it'll be right now or in the future, but I think Mike Babcock will be signed this season, whether it's right now in the All-Star game or something like that. I think a team is willing to make a coaching change and bring Mike Babcock in. But with this Mike Babcock rumor video, I need to hear y'all's thoughts down those comments down below. So let me know what you think about Mike Babcock, him being available for the NHL, and of course the big question on to you. Which team do you think ends up with Mike Babcock and signs him? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you guys should click on this card right here to watch my video on Sheldon Keefe and my first impressions with him as Maple Leafs' new head coach. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on Mike Babcock and where you think he ends up. Share this video with your friends also. Get that Grav gang up to 10K subscribers, boys. I'm Nathan, and I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.